So I'm super excited to be here with Garth Wellman, who's the co-founder and CEO of Caleo Capital. Garth, I first met you 2012, 2013. You were helping one of the wealthiest clients that I'd ever met and helped invested. And I was fascinated by what you do. In fact, I'd never even heard of a family office until I met you. And I bet you that most of the people on this challenge have never even heard of a family office either. So can we just start with, what is a family office? And in your case, a multi-family office. What is it like? Because most people have never even heard of it.
Yeah, hi Scott. Yeah, great to have worked with you over the years. Yeah, I think Caleo was actually one of the first people to coin the phrase multi-family office. A family office is typically a full financial management of a high net worth individual's affairs. Typically, a wealthy person would set up a family office to administer everything in-house. You would bring in, legal attorneys, private equity, and construct a full suite of investment services from, offshore structuring to offshore legal advice. So we set up a family office to be an outsourced full financial services provider outside of the scope of just investment management. And that's what we brought to the table. And we realized that we wouldn't do that for a single family. And that was where we said we became a multi-family office. Our services were well outside of the scope of what a financial planner would do.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that, because most people, including me, only really understand a financial planner or / an investment bank. Maybe you've been invited to the private banking of investment banking, etc. What is the difference? And I'd love to ask you a question. I also want to give context from what I've experienced with all of our clients. But what is the difference from what people are used to what they get when they come through the Caleo, family office?
Oh, look, a financial planner is one service of probably 15 or 20 that a family office does. A financial planner effectively looks at a person's wealth preservation or their wealth creation. He goes, how do I create more wealth if a person hasn't yet got sufficient wealth? And he goes to the typical listed market space. And if he works for an institution, he goes to his employer's institution and offers their products as a solution to create wealth. The more sophisticated financial planner is the one that's working with the high net worth and saying, well, here's how we can preserve wealth. And that preservation of wealth then comes in the form again of the same financial products, sometimes slightly more sophisticated, a little bit more on the offshore side. He's not often involved in the actual legal structuring, and that is just outsourced by the bank to alternative companies. So very little of what a sophisticated financial planner does really goes into him being involved in the taxation, the immigration, international tax planning, international business, corporate advisory, resolving tax issues, staying current. So I think a financial advisor is largely connected to creating wealth and using listed investments, and protecting wealth using listed investments, which is just one very small part of what a family office really does and is capable of doing with in-house services.
It's so interesting because it reminds me just of a couple of clients, and a couple of people are going to meet these clients over the next couple of days, whether it's Cynthia or Abdul or Niels. But just the kind of the context I get from a bunch of people is, firstly, they were used to having lots of things all over the place. In fact, quite a lot of chaos and hassle. And the beauty that they love is that they can bring it all under one roof and actually have everything looked at. So whether they own a house in England or a house in America, for the first time ever, actually consolidate everything and have a sort of one plan, not this disparate plan all over the place with multiple advisors. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I found really interesting, and Derek, who's actually a farmer, came up to meet with the Caleo team face to face, and his words were phenomenal. And I always laugh at that, because why he said phenomenal, he said, I spent my whole life trying to find someone that I could, literally go to with financial advice, but with a holistic approach, not just stick me in the box. I'm just like, this is a product that everyone else is selling. And actually someone that could sit and understand me, my family, my needs, my wants, and ultimately come up with a bespoke solution. I mean, they're just two examples of many, many people that you've helped. But I like to sort of give people a little bit of context of why it's different. You know, just because we're used to a box of chocolates doesn't mean that there's actually not a much better solution out there in terms of it. So it sort of brings me on to the last question that I would have for you. And I know that Anthony will go into all the substance of how it all works, so people get the substance now. But what I wanted to understand from you was the feedback I get from a lot of people when they meet with you, they meet with Anthony, they come along to the mastermind, they learn and listen, and they go, but it sounds too good to be true. If you're working with some of the wealthiest families, you know, around the world, why would you work with me? What's the reason for that? You know, why are you even here, you know, helping me on this presentation?
Yeah, Scott, I've said it before. You know, you can build scalable businesses, and, you know, I'm both a financial person and an entrepreneur. But what I started picking up is I don't think good advice should be the domain of just the super wealthy. Okay. And one of the greatest problems the world faces is wealth disparity. You know, where 99% of the wealth is held in 1% of the world's population hands. And we know that's one of the biggest problems that has to change. But the same with advice. The wealthier are, the higher the quality of the advice, the more access you have to deals, the more access you have to create more wealth. So, you know, in our universe, we want to create opportunities for a much broader, much more scalable suite of wealth and investors, for example. So I really want to see people that are hungry to learn, to create wealth, and to generate, you know, economies like in a country like South Africa, where economics and business and wealth creation is so important right now. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if we can teach the secrets of that 1% to 25, 30% more people, we create a much more sustainable world and a much more sustainable economy. So, yeah, I think that's where, you know, where you and I have worked really well together is to create scalable but high-end information being accessible to other people rather than just the 1%. Yeah. And also, you know, with the 65 clients we have, 70 clients, I mean, it grows all the time, I haven't counted, families that we have, so much opportunity exists within that for us to, you know, to spread that opportunity and create a real symbiotic environment for wealth creation and transfer of knowledge.
Well, look, I mean, just from my side, I'm deeply grateful. You know, we've been on this journey now for the best part of 18 months in terms of the actual mastermind and everything. You know, Anthony turns up every month and teaches us, you know, Selwyn and, you know, so many of your team members have added so much value. And my learning, and I mean, I think I know quite a lot, but I realized I barely knew what I didn't know, you know, so it's been phenomenal, this growth. And one of the things that I appreciate most is when I find, you know, people that join the mastermind, they seem to have it all. They seem to know everything already. And then they come and meet you and they just have their minds blown of like what's possible. So I deeply appreciate the partnership. I deeply appreciate what you just said in terms of people getting access to it. And I look forward to others learning about what a family office is and, more importantly, how it can impact in their lives. So just a huge amount of gratitude to you and your team. Thank you for sharing it with others.
Oh, wonderful, Scott. Thank you for that. And yeah, you know, it's been a great journey, and it's always so rewarding to hear compliments from your clients. And yeah, long may we continue to, you know, teach and grow people.
Awesome, Garth. Thanks so much, mate. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.